I thought Thursday night at Martin we did some good things. I thought that we showed some growth in that game. We still continue to make the same mistakes that we had been making. So even though we did make some changes and some changes for the good, we still reverted back to some of those same mistakes that have been causing us trouble all year long. But after that game, it was like something clicked. And I don't know what it was, but it was like, okay, we understand what you're saying, Coach. These are the things that we have to do to be successful. And we just talked about toughness before going into the SEMO game, and that, you know, we're on the road. We got to be tough. We've got to be tough mentally and physically. We've got to be able to do the things that we know can create success for us and get away from the things that continue to plague us throughout the year. And I thought it was a really gutsy effort by our kids on Saturday night.
Coach, you talked a little bit about that selfishness you needed out of Macy moving forward. I guess, are you wanting just her to take more shots, hunt the free throw line more? What are you looking for specifically out of her from the offensive side of the basketball?
She has to take more shots. I mean, she wasn't getting enough shots up. She wasn't looking for her offense enough. She was trying to get everyone else involved, which is great. That's what point guards do, but I like point guards that can score. And we just talked about the fact, and this isn't the first time I've had the conversation with her, because she's so selfless that she wants to be the one that creates other people's opportunities, and she does a great job at that. But I'm trying to make her understand that right now we're still a few pieces short offensively of being able to have enough firepower to win games. So she has to score the basketball, and I mean, she's just going to do everything she can not to disappoint me and not to disappoint her teammates. And I mean, she was just aggressive offensively all night, and that was the difference.
She looked to me like you took the best Murray High Macy and used a mouse and dragged her into Murray. She looked just like that player, that mid-range jumper. Every weapon she had seemed to be at her disposal.
Right, and I think that, you know, thinking back, might not have realized how much pressure she had on her early. I mean, you know, she's supposed to be come in and just be all conference immediately. You know, there was a lot of expectations on her. I threw a lot on her to begin with and put a lot of pressure on her shoulders and said, this is your team. We're going to go as far as you go. And, you know, looking back, you have to understand that, you know, when she got to me as a seventh grader, she wasn't the player that she was when she graduated. And it's kind of like starting over. I mean, you have to get used to the game. I mean, my husband even talked to her about the differences in levels of Division I. And you have to be able to get yourself to where you can perform at all levels of Division I. And I think early on when we played the Evansvilles and the Lipscomb and those type of things, that she got settled in and she played really well. But then when we started playing the more athletic teams, the bigger teams, then I think she was still trying to figure it out. So probably my fault for putting so much on her so early, but my expectations for her are so high. But she's starting to figure it out, and I expect to see that type of Macy from here on out, or we'll find a way to get it out of her one way or another.
Talk about some of the other players that she's trying to get going. Obviously, Evelyn's had a good year, and I would imagine everyone expects that to continue. But who else do you see really starting to figure it out? Is it Lex and Alexis? Is it going to be somebody that's maybe not healthy right now? Who do you see that's going to really be that third scorer that you need?
Well, I thought the missing, you know, we all look at score, who scores the points, who gets the rebounds, but I thought the missing piece of the night was the credit that Lex, Alexis, and Crane did not get. It may not show up in the scorebook, but when Lex was open, she made the 2 dagger threes that helped us. Alexis did the best she could to guard Thompson. I mean, she's out physical size, but she guarded her, and at times we couldn't stop her, but she kept going back at her. Alexis' ability to keep plays going. Her ability to handle the basketball when we couldn't get the ball to Macy because she's totally being denied. And, you know, Crane's not ever probably going to show up in the scorebook, but she has such a toughness about her that the other players draw from. She gives you everything she's got. So, yes, we need those kids to step up and score the basketball more, obviously. But the things that they do sometimes get overlooked because they didn't score the 32 points. We don't win that game without those 3 kids doing their job. Now, yes, we need bench. I can't play 5 kids all year. But it was a gut check for a lot of people on Saturday. And I said, we're going to play the ones that have to show the toughness, and if I have to play with 4 people, I will. And those 5 kids just show toughness. Now, yes, we've got some kids coming off injury that I hope are going to be able to get back into it and give us some minutes. I feel like Matt can give us great minutes. We're going to continue to use her. She's really bought in. She's really working hard. But we need to find some people that can come off the bench and give us substantial minutes, and we need scoring off the bench. So we're still kind of a work in progress in that matter, but I'm going to go to war with the people that want to go to war, whether that's 5 people or whether that's 10. And we're going to continue to be that way going forward.
Do you feel better not having to worry about rebounding every game, hoping maybe we'll get a few this game? Because, I mean, they've been tremendous on the board.
They have, and it's been a big difference for us. I mean, last year we just got whipped. And the kids have done a good job of that. And it's kind of been rebounding by committee. I mean, Evelyn is averaging a double-double, but Crane's boarding, Alexis is boarding. We're getting some really – Lex's rebounding numbers are really good because we stress all 5 people got to go to the glass. One person can't do it themselves. So the rebounding has been great because the 2 key ingredients for us when we've been successful this year is that we've taken care of the basketball and we've rebounded the basketball and not given other teams second chances. And the games that we've lost, you can go, look, points off turnovers, points off second chances, that's when we lose the games. So to know that we've got kids that are willing and able to go get the boards is a big relief for me because we're pretty good defensively. I don't brag on them too much, but we're pretty good defensively. But what we were doing is we were guarding so well for 25 seconds and then giving up a second chance. When we figure out how to finish defensive plays, we're going to be even that much better. But holding SEMO to 59 points was pretty good defense the other night, especially when we played 5 kids in the second half.
Now that you've done that one game, how important is it to put it together in the second game and the third game and try to pick up some momentum now?
Oh, this week is so important for us, and I don't sugarcoat things with our kids. I don't lie to them about anything. If we're the underdog and there's a good chance that if we don't do things this way, we're going to get beat, I'll tell them. But I'm going to tell them going into this week, these are 2 games we got to get. I mean, we can't go and leave these games on the table. Is that pressure? Maybe. But that's okay because that's what basketball is about. It's about performing on the biggest stages. You got to learn, you got to prepare, and you got to perform. And those are the kids that we're going to go to battle with, and those are the kids that we have to have. And as we're out recruiting, those are the kids that we're looking for. Who can play on the big stage? It's easy to play when you're winning by 20. It's easy to play when nothing's on the line, but who can step up and make the plays when we have to have those? And this week, we've got to have everybody on board to make those plays. We need a hero. Whoever that's going to be. Saturday night, it seemed, Macy Turley was a hero offensively, but we need some heroes this week because this is a huge week for our basketball team.
You said something clicked. Specifically to me, I saw it click in the turnover department. You guys have been turning the ball over a lot, but Saturday that number was significantly lower than it has been. Was there anything structured or game plan wise to help limit turnovers, or was that just they did a better job on it?
We looked at some things, but it was just basically, it's just time to fix that. I mean, you've played people that pressure you like this. We're making mistakes. I felt like in the Martin game, we brought a lot of the turnovers on ourselves. Not that their defense is not very good and they're very athletic, but I thought we did a lot of that to ourselves. So we put a lot of emphasis on that in practice. We ran a lot of sprints. We got their attention, and I think it helped going on Saturday night.
Just something on Eastern Illinois. What do you expect to see from them?
I tell you, they make me nervous because they're so unorthodox. I mean, I've watched film and watched more film and watched more film, and they dribble drive. They kind of play a European style of basketball. They have a lot of international players. They've got some kids that can shoot it. And then defensively, they're unorthodox. It's like a 2-3 trapping matchup zone. So, I mean, it's just not like here's the plays they run, here's what they do on ball screens. All the stuff that we've been doing in the scouts so far, it's like turned on its head for this one. So they make me nervous in the fact that they're different, and our kids have done a really good job of being able to understand how to make changes based on what different people do. We have certain rules on how we guard certain things. Well, I've got to make up some new rules this week because they do a lot of unorthodox things, like I said, and they're very hard to guard. And when they shoot the basketball well, and we know that we cannot let them bury us at the three-point line. So those are going to be our focuses for them this week.
And the positives of a noon game, I know there's got to be some, right?
Well, yeah, I don't have to sit around all day and worry about it. That's one of the biggest things. These in the non-conference season, these 7 o'clock games, I'm worn out. I wear myself out before we even get to the game for worrying about everything. So, yeah, we're going to get up and get going. have a noon game time, and I think it's education day for them. So there's going to be a lot of kids in the stands. It's going to be a good environment for us to play in, being on the road again. So hopefully I'll have less time to worry, Neil. That'd be good for me.
Evelyn's shooting really well in these first 4 games, and obviously is rebounding the ball really well. 19 turnovers in 4 games. How do you guys address that, and what's the mindset for her moving forward to kind of limit that category?
Right. Well, what's happened to Evelyn is they're sending 2 or 3 people at her when she catches the ball, and we're having to make those adjustments, and we're having to help her through that. Again, Evelyn is a junior. Evelyn is graduated, but Evelyn is very immature in her minutes in Division I basketball. So being able to adjust to the different things the defenses are throwing at her, we're showing her a lot of film. We're going to talk about it in practice and try to help her. We're talking to our guards about getting in her line of sight. She needs to be able to see you. And part of it's on the guards. They have got to talk to her and let her know the double team's coming, and then they have to identify to her where they are on the floor. We have a number system in how we call out. We signify to our players where we're open and at which spot on the floor we're open. That's great, but if we don't use it and we don't help our teammates out, then it puts her in a bad situation. Now, she turns the ball over quite a bit walking, at times going to the basket. I feel like a lot of times that's caused by physicality, and they move her off her spot. But once she catches the ball, we've got to do a better job of trying to help her understand her reads, and that's something that we're really focusing on.